Have you ever wondered what would happen if death itself came to take the person you love most? What if I told you that one woman, just one ordinary woman, walked into the realm of the dead, stood face to face with Lord Yama, the god of death himself, and walked back out with her husband's soul in her hands? This is not a legend created to comfort us. This is the story of Savitri, a story buried inside the Mahabharata, a story so powerful that even Lord Yama had no choice but to bow to the strength of her love. Watch till the end, because the way she defeats death itself may just change the way you think about love, karma and destiny forever. In the ancient kingdom of Madra, there lived a king named Ashwapati. He was a wise and just ruler, but he had one sorrow: he had no children. For 18 long years he performed sacred rituals and prayers to the goddess Savitri. And finally, the goddess blessed him with a daughter, a girl so radiant, so wise, so full of divine grace that they named her after the goddess herself, Savitri. As Savitri grew into a woman of extraordinary beauty and intelligence, no man dared propose to her. Not because she was cold or harsh, but because she radiated something almost too divine. Something that made ordinary men feel unworthy. And so her father, King Ashwapati, made a bold decision. He told his daughter, "Go, travel through the kingdoms. Find your own husband. Trust your own heart." And Savitri did exactly that. Savitri traveled through forests, mountains, and kingdoms with her royal attendants. And deep in the heart of an ancient forest, she found an ashram, a humble hermitage where an exiled king lived as a blind hermit with his son. His name was Satyavan, a prince who had lost his kingdom, who lived in simple forest clothes, who chopped wood each day and cared for his blind father with gentle devotion. And the moment Savitri saw him, she knew, this is the man, not because of wealth or power, but because of who he was in his soul. She returned to her father and declared, "I have chosen Satyavan." But before the wedding could be arranged, the great sage Narada appeared, and what Narada said next would shatter everything. "Savitri," he said quietly, "Satyavan is perfect in every way, noble, truthful and kind. But," and here Narada paused, "he will die exactly 1 year from today. His lifespan has already been decided." The entire court fell silent. King Ashwapati begged his daughter to reconsider. Choose someone else, someone who will live. But Savitri looked at her father with absolute calm and said, "A daughter of a noble king chooses only once. I have chosen. I will not change." And there it was, the vow that would set destiny itself on a collision course. They married in a ceremony of sacred fire and flower garlands under the open sky. Savitri gave up her royal robes. She wore simple bark cloth like a forest hermit's wife. She served her blind father-in-law. She gathered fruit. She tended the fire. She lived as humbly as the forest itself. And day by day she loved Satyavan completely, knowing each day was one less. 3 days before the year ended, Savitri began her sacred fast. She ate nothing. She slept nothing. She prayed with her entire being, because she knew the day was coming. When the final morning arrived, the day Narada had predicted, Savitri woke before dawn. Her heart was steady. Her decision was made. She would not let Satyavan go into the forest alone. They walked together into the forest. Satyavan chopped wood as he always did, and then, without warning, he stopped. He turned to Savitri, confusion in his eyes. "My head, I feel pain, like fire inside." He could barely stand. Savitri guided him gently to the roots of a great banyan tree. She sat down. She placed his head in her lap, and within moments, Satyavan closed his eyes and did not wake up. The forest went absolutely still, and then the air itself changed. The temperature dropped. The light dimmed. A supernatural wind swept through the ancient trees, and there he was, Lord Yama, the god of death, dark as a storm cloud, massive as a mountain, wearing a golden crown and dark armor that seemed to absorb all light, riding his great black buffalo. His eyes were deep as the cosmos itself. In his hand, a divine noose. He looked at Savitri without emotion, the way a king looks at a boundary that must be respected. And he said, "I have come for your husband. His time is complete. He reached down and drew Satyavan's soul out of his body, a small glowing orb of pure golden light. Then Yama turned south toward the realm of the dead and began to walk. And Savitri stood up and followed. Yama paused. He turned. "Woman," he said, and even his voice carried the weight of the cosmos. "Turn back. You cannot follow the dead. This path is not for the living." But Savitri replied, "Where my husband is led, there I must go." That is the dharma of a devoted wife. Yama was quiet for a long moment. Then, for the first time, something flickered across his great dark face. Not impatience, not anger, respect. "Your devotion is extraordinary," he said. "Ask for any boon, any gift, except the life of your husband, and I will grant it." Savitri said, "Please restore the eyesight of my father-in-law Dyumatsena." "Granted," said Yama. "Now turn back." But Savitri kept walking. Yama offered another boon. "Ask again. Please restore my father-in-law's lost kingdom." "Granted," said Yama. "Now please, turn back." But Savitri kept walking. By now, even the god of death was astonished. Who was this woman? He offered a third boon. Savitri asked for 100 sons for her father, who had no male heir. "Granted," said Yama almost gently. "Now, please, turn back, devoted one." And then Savitri spoke her final words. Soft, simple, and absolutely devastating. "Great Lord Yama, grant me the boon of having many sons, children of my own body." Silence. Complete cosmic silence. And then, Yama realized what had just happened. If she was to have children of her own body, then her husband had to be alive. He had been outwitted, not by force, not by trickery, but by love so steady, so intelligent, so absolute, that it had turned Dharma itself into a trap. And Lord Yama, the god of death, who has never bent, bowed his great head. "Take him," Yama said quietly. "Take your husband. He shall live a long, righteous life. And all the boons I granted, they are all fulfilled." Savitri ran back through the forest to the great banyan tree. Satyavan lay exactly where she had left him. She knelt beside him, and his eyes opened. He looked up at her, confused, like a man waking from a deep dream, and said, "I must have fallen asleep. How long was I gone?" Savitri smiled. And she said nothing of what had happened, because what had happened was between her soul and the universe. When they returned home, everything had changed. His father Dyumatsena could see again. His lost kingdom was restored. Every boon Yama had granted had manifested in reality, and the world came to know the name Savitri, the woman who defeated death, not with weapons, not with divine power, but with love so pure, so unwavering, so intelligent, that even the god of death had no answer for it. As the ancient scriptures tell us, true devotion is not weakness. It is the most invincible force in all creation. We are the architects of our own destiny. And kindness, love and truth, these are the only currencies that matter in the end. Until next time, live with compassion, walk the path of truth, and stay curious.